Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sutra-26 Nirvikalpa Bhava. Be the yogi through contemplation. Na vrajenna vishet shaktir marudrupa vikasite nirvikalpataya madhye thaya Bhairava-rupatha. In the previous sutras, specifically Sutra 24 and 25, we discussed the nature of prana. The incoming breath is apana and the outgoing breath is prana. We should be very clear in our minds that it is one prana shakti manifesting itself as apana and prana. The outgoing breath or the exhalation ends at a length of 12 fingers from the tip of the nose. The incoming breath or inhalation ends in Hridaya at a length of 12 fingers from the tip of the nose to Hridaya. Hridaya is not the physical heart, but our own center. The 2 points are known as Dvadashanta. The Prana Shakti manifests itself as Apana and Prana and moves between the 2 points, the 2 Dvadashanta, the Anta Dvadashanta and Bahihi Dvadashanta. In this state, the Madhya Nadi is not active. The Madhya Nadi is Sushumna Nadi. When the Madhya Nadi is not active, the sadhaka experiences duality. Duality is samsara. The Ida and Pingala Nadi represent this duality. The duality is what keeps us in samsara. In this state, the mind is filled with vikalpa. The mind is constantly moving between the past and the future. The mind is filled with raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. The mind is filled with fantasy, imagination and projection. They are part of our experience, isn't it? Observe how much of time we spend thinking about the past and worrying about the future. The mind is filled with endless desires, worries and fear. This is Vikalpa. Vikalpa is about imagination, daydreaming and fantasy. The mind wanders between the past and the future. We recollect the past and worry about the future situations that do not exist. This is the state of samsara or duality. Duality means I am an individual, I have a personality, I am separate from the creation, I am separate from Īśvara. When there is duality, there is no escape from samsara. The Ida and Pingala Nadi represent duality. If you carefully observe your breath, at any given point in time, one of the nostrils is more active. Either Ida or Pingala is active. This way, you can recognize the flow of prana. Every hour or so, the breath switches sides. This sutra says that duality will persist when there is vikalpa. In this state, the prana shakti flows and alternates between the Ida and Pingala Nadi. In Sutra 25, an upaya was given to activate the Madhya Nadi or the Sushumna Nadi. This is to concentrate on the 2 points of Dvadashanta. The Dvadashanta represents the gap between the inhalation and exhalation. This is Shaktopaya, where the sadhaka was asked to focus on the gap between the inhalation and exhalation. Over prolonged practice, prana and apana comes to a stillness. In this stillness, the Madhya Nadi or Sushumna Nadi opens. The Madhya Dasha or the path of the Madhya Nadi is available for the prana to flow. We discussed this in Sutra 25. Perhaps you may want to listen to Sutra 24 and 25 once again. When the Madhya Nadi is open, the prana naturally flows through the Sushumna Nadi. This prana Shakti is Bhairavi. Bhairavi's only desire is to reach the Sahasrara, to be in union with Bhairava. In this union, there is no distinction between Bhairava and Bhairavi. When there is duality, Bhairava and Bhairavi seemingly look separate. Let us come back to the sutra now. Na vrajenna vishet shaktir marudrupa vikasite nirvikalpataya madhye taya bhairava rupata. The sutra points us to the flow of prana in the Sushumna Nadi through Nirvikalpa Bhava. This is Shambhavopaya. This is for a sadhaka whose mind is well prepared to realize the truth. The sadhaka's mind is in the state of Nirvikalpa Bhava. Let us understand Nirvikalpa Bhava. Bhava or Bhavana is contemplation. Contemplation is a very powerful tool that we all have. It can change the way we think about ourselves. Normally, we think of ourselves as limited human beings going through ups and downs in life. The world and life experiences present themselves to us based on how we think. We suffer in life because of our limitation. We seek freedom or liberation from this suffering. In contemplation or bhavana, we change the way we think about ourselves. We contemplate that I am not a limited being. I am not a limited individual confined to my body and mind. I am the pure consciousness. I see consciousness everywhere. The world does not bother me anymore. I am aware of the nature of the world. The world comes and goes in my experience. That which comes and goes cannot be the truth. Bhairava is the truth and reality. I am not separate from Bhairava. I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. This is the contemplation or bhavana in this sutra. Bhavana is yogic contemplation. The Vedas say Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. To know the truth is to be the truth. The knower of the Atman becomes the Atman. In this contemplation, the identification is always with the pure consciousness, the Atman. There is no identification with any other thoughts that come and go in the mind. The thoughts are nothing but vasanas, isn't it? There is no vasana in the Atman. It is only matter of time that the vasanas in the mind of the sadhaka are completely destroyed based on this contemplation. The sadhaka's mind is filled with the thought of Atman alone. The mind that was Vikalpa, filled with thought patterns, will move towards Nirvikalpa. The sadhaka will reach a stage, I am there and the Atman is there. At this level, a subtle duality will still exist. Soon, the sadhaka will reach a stage where the distinction between I and the Atman will disappear. It is no longer I am there and the Atman is there. There is no distinction between I and the Atman. This is the state of Nirvikalpa. This will lead to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is the state from thoughts to no thought. There is no duality anymore. The sadhaka is established in oneness. This sutra is telling us to develop this Nirvikalpa Bhava. This Bhava will take the sadhaka to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, all vasanas are eliminated. The meditator and meditation have become one. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is stillness. This stillness is due to no thoughts in the mind. Without thoughts, the mind doesn't exist. Have you noticed that there are moments in our lives where we experience stillness? The example is deep sleep or Sushupti Avastha. In Sushupti Avastha, the mind and the world have disappeared for us. The state of deep sleep is like Nirvikalpa Samadhi. However, there is no awareness in deep sleep. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is pure awareness. In deep sleep, we experience Ananda. But we recognize this Ananda only when we wake up. After waking up, we say, I slept so well. A person who is sleeping cannot say, I am sleeping. In deep sleep, the world has disappeared. The duality does not exist. And we are in our own self. This is the state of Ananda. A question can arise in our mind. Why can't I be in the state of Ananda even when I am awake? Can I experience the state of deep sleep while I am awake? In waking state, we are more aware, isn't it? Why can't we experience the deep sleep state where the mind does not have thought patterns while I am awake? In waking state or the Jagrata Avastha, the mind is filled with thought patterns. If I can eliminate the thoughts in the waking state, can I experience the deep sleep state during waking state? This would mean I can experience deep sleep state with awareness. Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi calls this as Jagrat Sushupti. This is about remaining awake, but the thoughts are stilled. This is the state of a Jnani. The Jnani is in the state of Samadhi. In essence, to reach the state of Jagrat Sushupti, it is about how well the mind is prepared. When the mind is filled with Atma Jnanam, the sadhaka naturally moves towards the state of Jagrat Sushupti. Bhavana or contemplation is a method. The sutra has given us a method which is Nirvikalpa Bhava. Na vrajenna vishesh chaktir marudrupa vikasite Nirvikalpataya madhye taya Bhairava-rupata. This sutra offers deep insights. Many things come to my mind which I want to share with you, including my own experiences. However, I am cautious that I don't want to tie you with too many perspectives. I have tried my best to explain this in a concise manner, given the nature of this sutra. Let us develop this Nirvikalpa Bhava. Let the mind dwell on the consciousness, the Atman alone.